Week 4 of SDRL Season 7 saw our drivers at Bahrain, where we had a single session qualifying and 29 laps of racing. Our driver lineup this week was absent Red Bull's Tyrant with no reserve. Ferrari's Rando and Aston Martin's Lateout were also absent without reserves. Takubi stepped in for Zyros at Alpine and Black Fridays for Alex at VCarb. We also had Nick Flies in for Wins at Sauber and both Downsy and Barbotti in for Orax and Smith at Haas. The single session of qualifying saw final times range from Rob's 129.5 to Bob's 126.223 at the top of the tower. The front row of the grid would have a familiar look about it. Alongside Barbans at P1 was Barbotti in P2. Behind them, Black Fridays immediately made an impression, lining up P3 beside Shan in P4. Takubi sat beside Mars in row 3, Berkey and Tesswill row 4, and Sert with Nick Flies row 5. 29 laps at Bahrain would either need very careful pace and tyre management to run a one-stop, or the ability to keep pushing at the cost of multiple stops. The front 3 rows all started on mediums. Berkey, Testwill, Sert, Nick Flies and Jax opted for softs, with a possible eye on an early safety car. Josh was the single brave driver on hards. From lights out, Barbans jumped off the line. Behind him, most of the grid held on to their positions. These slow turns did cause some bunching, and damage was the result. Downsy lost his wing in turn 1, Takubi lost his wing turn 8, and Jax his in turn 10. Turn 1 of lap 2, Tesswill spun Takubi around, damaging his own wing and backing up traffic, enough that Sert lost his wing on Tesswill's diffuser. It was the start of a challenging sequence for Testwill. By the close of lap 2, the front order was set to a familiar pattern, although much would happen to challenge that order throughout the race. Barbans led Barbotti, then Black Friday the debutant, Mars as ever right there in the mix. Berkey and Shan challenging for top 5 honours. Behind Shan, the field opened out, with 2 seconds down to Tesswill, Sert in P8, Nick Flies outside DRS in P9, and Bradders, who started at the back of the grid, making it to an impressive P10. As we rolled into lap 10, Barbans and Barbotti had opened more than 2 seconds on Mars in P3. Shan another 2 seconds behind in P4, another 13 seconds back to Testwill in P5. Despite some excellent work to this point, Testwill picked up a 10-second penalty in the pits, and then after exiting, his car careened into the barrier of turn 4. His DNF would later be judged as deliberate by the FIA and result in a season ban. The safety car came out, and everyone still on mediums came into the pits. This put everyone on hards save for Josh and Jax on new mediums. The pack bunched behind Barbans as lap 14 and the restart beckoned. Surprisingly, Barbans waited until the main straight before making his move. The effect was a costly spin for Black Friday in turn 1 that dropped him down to P12. Now sandwiched between Epa Ake and Jax, the 3 of them would come off the track at turn 11, ending Black Friday's early promise of a top 5 finish. Lap 17 saw the first of 2 disrupting events spice up what had been a predictable race to this point. The first event saw Barbotti drop from the game and dropping down the timing tower. Barbotti rejoined P5 with a daunting 3-second delta back to P4. Some of Barbotti's pain was soon spared when Jax crashed at turn 12, the virtual safety car allowing Barbotti to at least close the 3-second delta. Racing resumed as Barbans rounded turn 10 of lap 18. Barbotti wasted no time, using his charged battery and DRS on the main straight of lap 19 to round Berkey and take the P4 spot. Turn 1 of lap 20, Barbotti made the DRS of Shan. Shan wasn't going to give up P3 without a fight though. By lap 23, Barbotti had pressed so hard Shan was out of ERS. Barbotti managed to pass as they barreled down on turn 1. Barbotti now P3. Lap 24, Barbotti was pressing Mars hard for P2, when up ahead Barbans seemed to hit something in the road at turn 4. With not a groundhog in sight, Barbans spun off, quickly recovering to P4. Now it was Barbans on the hunt, and this looked like it would be fun, at least for the watching audience. To this point we'd seen most position changes happen back from P5. Barbans now had 5 laps on 13-lap-old hards to fight back. Could he make the podium or even the top step? Mars now led, Barbotti P2 and Shan P3 with a 2-second gap back to Barbance. As lap 25 closed, Barbance closed the 2-second delta and moved into Shan's DRS. Coming out of turn 13 of lap 26, Barbance looked poised to move on Shan. He pulled alongside approaching turn 14, where he made the overtake and pulled away on the straight. In perhaps the move of the race, Barbance judged his braking into turn 1 of lap 28 perfectly, managing to pass Barbotti and then Mars in the braking zone, taking back his P1. Barbotti pulled into his brother's slipstream and followed him through turn 1 into P2. Anyone following the season had to feel for Mars, but also revel in the qualities of the Hungarian brothers. Barbance would lead the final 2 laps and imperiously take the flag in P1, Barbotti P2, Mars P3 and Shan a well-earned P4. Berkey carefully nursed his 20-lap hards over the line for P5, followed by another impressive finish for Sert in P6. Nick Flies would take P7 after Black Friday's penalties were applied, Oscar an excellent P9 and Downsy P10. Now at the midpoint of the season, the Drivers' Championship looks like Barbance's to lose. Mars is still in second, but has Cloud right behind. Barbotti's podiums have earned him 4th in the championship at this point, and Shan's consistent top-of-the-grid results a well-earned 5th. In the Constructors, Alpine rules supreme with strong finishes from Zyros helping with Barbance's tally. VCarb are a long stride back and almost entirely powered by Mars. Haas remain in 4th despite not having a qualifying driver on the grid for Bahrain. That wraps week 4. Now on to Losail.